Right now, in a cold, dark laboratory, millions of mice, rabbits, cats, dogs, primates, and many other animals are locked inside small, barren cages. They're scared and they're lonely. They long for food and the ability to roam free. They ache with pain while they sit and wait for someone to perform another procedure on them. After lives of pain and terror, almost all test animals will be killed. Animal testing should be illegal because it's inhumane and there's not enough evidence to support the testing, and many alternatives have already been found. Every year, millions of helpless animals are sacrificed to the world of science. According to Humane Society International, animals used in experiments are subjected to force feeding, food and water deprivation, prolonged periods of physical restraint, infliction of burns or other wounds to study their healing processes, neck breaking, decapitation, and other means of torture, while receiving no anesthesia for relief. Two of the most well-known tests that they perform on animals are the Drazy eye test and the LD50 test. The Drazy eye test, which is used by cosmetic companies to examine irritation caused by shampoo and other products, involves rabbits being held down and their eyelids forced open by clips so they cannot blink away the product that is being tested on them. They're often left like this for multiple days. They then drop the substance directly onto the rabbit's cornea. The eye with the substance on it will blister or start to have lesions or tissue damage. The damage done to the cornea validates the lab's suspicions that bleaches and other goods should not come in contact with the human eye. The LD50 test, or lethal dose 50, involves finding out which of a certain chemical will kill 50% of the animals they use or tested. The U.S. Department of Agriculture reported that about 48,015 hamsters, 33,652 guinea pigs, 5,996 rabbits, and 1,395 primates are used each year, along with many other animals. To discriminate against these animals because they do not have the ability to force pain or the moral judgment that humans do is akin to discriminating against those with severe mental disabilities. Like the English philosopher Jeremy Bentham wrote in the 1700s, the question is not can they reason, nor can they talk, but can they suffer. Many people attempt to justify animal testing by stating that it saves human lives, but there is really no concrete medical evidence that testing on animals is beneficial to humans. They use chimpanzees mostly because they share a 99% similarity of their DNA with humans, and mice share a 98% genetic similarity. Even though their DNA is strikingly similar, it is not always concrete. In the 1950s, a sleeping pill called thalidomide was tested on animals where it was released to the public. It proved to have great results on animals, but caused nearly 10,000 human babies to be born with severe birth deformities. Tests were then conducted on pregnant animals and showed that birth defects were prominent if the drug was taken in high doses. Another example of a medical mishap is the arthritis drug Vioxx. The drug showed it had a positive effect for mice hearts, but caused more than 100,000 heart attacks in 5 years and 7 cardiac-related deaths. Some alternatives have already been found, but if more money and resources were devoted to other alternatives, other solutions would be found as well. Several groups like PETA and the Food and Drug Administration are working adamantly to create alternatives. Some alternatives that they've already found are CAMVA, which is the chorioamnionic membrane vascular assay, eye-tex, and skin-tex. CAMVA replaces the Drazy eye test. Because older eggs are considered to be live animals, the test uses 10-day-old eggs and a test substance to closely relate to the human eye. The test substance is first soaked in saline and then is introduced to the egg. Toxicity is measured by the breakdown of blood vessels in the membrane. eye-tex also replaces the Drazy eye test. This test is an in vitro procedure that uses protein from the jack bee. This protein resembles the cornea of a human eye, and the cornea will turn a creamy white color when it comes in contact with the test substance. The amount of irritancy is determined by the color the cornea turns when it becomes infected. Skin-tex is another in vitro procedure that produces irritants on the skin. This experiment uses the rind of a pumpkin to measure irritancy. The difference in pricing is actually astonishing when you compare the animal testing to the in vitro tests. The Humane Society International published the differences with the following results. unscheduled DNA synthesis tests to animal tests cost $32,000, while the in vitro alternative only costs $11,000. A rat phototoxicity test costs $11,500, while the non-animal equivalent only costs $1,300. A rat uterotropic assay costs $29,000, while the corresponding test only costs $7,000. A two-species lifetime cancer study can cost $2 million to $4 million, and the U.S. National Institutes of Health spends $14 billion of its $31 billion annual budget on animal research. Animal testing should be illegal because it's inhumane, there is not enough evidence to support the testing, and alternative methods have been found. Millions of animals don't deserve to die in vain. It is of pure ignorance and unsatisfactory resources that their lives are cut short for the sake of science, medicine, and beauty.